I want to start out with Pam. Can you tell me about Theater 444?
Sure. I've been directing and producing theater for just over 40 years. I've done a lot of community theater and local theater. I've done some adjudicating for the State Association of New York State Arts. I've done some adjudicating for Rochester Broadway Theater League. So I've been kind of around, and there's been a series of shows that I've always wanted to direct, and I wasn't able to do that because community theaters want to do big, huge shows for lots of
Sure.
people, which we want lots of people to participate.
Right.
And so at one point, I finally just said, I think I need to start something of my own so that we can do some things that are on the smaller scale, but are a little more edgy, a little more on the edge. So we started this organization to try to provide a different venue and a different lens for theater in the area and the Finger Lakes. So we started about 6 years ago, just with a nickel and a prayer, and we're still going. So
That's so exciting. So,
yeah.
talk to us about what you have going on right now and what people should be looking at and excited about and why.
Well, we did Rent over the past last summer, and it was so successful. We were sold out for that whole performance before we even opened the doors. So it was
Wow.
pretty exciting. And we had lots of folks from the Rochester area and the Syracuse area come down into the Finger Lakes, which was super great. So we
Oh,
gained
yeah.
quite a large audience, which is why we picked Tick Tick Boom to try to get them to come back to the Finger Lakes and see us again. So we have Tick Tick Boom coming up at the end of January. And then in February, on February, I think it's 18th, I'd have to pull up the date again, but we have a little cardio dance class. That's a Broadway dance class that's happening.
What?
And
Okay,
then,
I'll go. I mean, if we're getting right to the chase, like I will be there. No
all right,
worries.
cool. And then in May, we're doing a play at the Waterloo Library. There's a beautiful little theater up above the Waterloo Library. And we're doing a play called Tiny Beautiful Things by Cheryl Strayed. Um,
Interesting.
and so we're super excited about that coming up too.
So, for those who don't know, what is Tick Tick Boom? What's it about?
Tick Tick Boom, I guess the best way I can summarize it without giving away too much is the life of a struggling artist. It is a true story about Jonathan Larson, who wrote the show about himself and his life, and he also wrote Rent. Um, it's closing in on his 30th birthday, and he feels as if he's running out of time to become successful and do what he wants to do with his life. And um, the show just kind of covers that last week or so before he turns 30 and the struggles he goes through in his career, in his relationship, and different things with his friend. And it's just a real life struggle of somebody who's very passionate but doesn't know exactly where to focus their energy.
Oh my gosh, how relatable is that, right? Lily, what does it mean? What does the show mean to you?
I think it's really, like you said, it's extremely relatable to put out this message not only about how important it is to focus the energy of your passion on something and make those hard choices, but it's also the deeper messaging that happens in the show is about the relationships that John has, and like navigating those difficulties as you choose self or external things, external relationships. But also the idea that oh, I'm fumbling my words. But
Oh no, you're doing
there's
great.
there's there's kind of a larger idea that we get to look behind the curtain of the creator of Rent. We get to see this like really iconic masterwork, what went on behind the scenes, how it came to be, and the real fight that it took to produce that. And there's echoes of Rent in John in this show. John put so much of himself into Rent. So so you really get if you're a huge fan of Rent, if you're a huge fan of John Larson, you get to take it apart on an intimate level and see those little pieces. And we get to weave that in through our staging as well, which is really fun, not only for the people who came and saw Rent this past summer, but people who have just been fans as well. You'll see little bits and pieces woven in.
Very exciting. So tell us about your characters, and John, will start with you. I'm sorry, is your name John? Logan.
No,
your character is John. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Logan, we will start with you.
Yeah, so as I said before, Jonathan Larson wrote Tick Tick Boom about himself, so I'm playing Jonathan Larson. And he's just a really struggling artist who pretty much is consumed by his career and his essentially obsession and passion for it, and gets lost in the other ways and forgets to focus on the relationships in his life and different things because of his overbearing passion for his career. And he just goes through a lot of those struggles, and it's hard for him because although he means well, he misses some cues and different things. And yeah, I mean, that's the best way I guess I can put it.
I mean, it makes sense. And Lily, your character.
Yeah, so I play Susan. I play John's girlfriend. So I'm Susan is navigating her next step in life the same way that John is, where John is torn between career and relationship. She's feeling very much the same thing, but she makes she's making a different decision entirely. She's more cerebral, I think, than John is. She's at least more like sometimes logical. And while he's striving to find this meaning and make this big impact and stamp his name on the world, she really wants to. She's motivated by building a life for herself that means something to her, not necessarily to like the great wide world, but that means something and that holds value for her. So they're definitely at odds in that way. And I think that we get a lot of fun opportunities, both like really, really emotional and really, really meaningful moments in the show, but we also get those really fun moments of general like relationship conflict that are, again, so like you've been there, you know what it's like to,
yes.
Oh, I want to tear your hair out.
So
we get to go through all of those dynamics of the relationship together. So.
And it's interesting what you said about that she's kind of, it feels to me like the writer was pretty self-aware if in fact your character was being portrayed as somebody who was like more the way you were describing it, like you said, cerebral than this other person, like that he was writing it about himself and his actual real life girlfriend, right?
Yeah. So Susan, the character of Susan is a combination of a few women that were in his life, but one of the primary inspirations for Susan, based on what I've discovered in my research, is Victoria Leacock, who ended up producing being one of the producers of the final iteration of Tick Tick Boom. And she, even though, to John's credit, even though they had a very like kind of emotional, tumultuous breakup, they remained dear friends, and she stayed a huge supporter of him and really pushed his work, and like she stayed his very dear friend throughout his life. So to his credit, it seems like he was able to, yes, be like very self-aware and reflect on those relationships in his life, but also that even when something went, the worst possible outcome of a relationship, he still maintained those relationships with the people that he held dear. And that, I think, speaks volumes about his character.
And without giving too much away, I want you both to tell me kind of what's your favorite part of the show. Obviously, it'll be a tricky question to answer because, like, without totally giving it away, but I'm sure you can come up with a way to explain it. So, Logan, we'll start with you. What's your favorite part of the show as an actor?
I think it's kind of a general statement, but the challenge of the role is, I think, my favorite part. Just the dive from comedic, lighthearted to a dark and sad place as well. And he goes on a huge emotional roller coaster, as all three of the characters do. And I think getting to portray those different things and have some range in my performance is probably my favorite thing about it.
Awesome. And Lily?
Yeah, I think the emotional journey of the show is definitely a fun one. But I think my favorite part as we really start to see, more of the technical and like the technical elements of the show come together. I think the staging is my favorite part. The way that
Wow.
Pam has conceived of putting this together and the environment that the audience will be put in and how interactive this is going to be is one of my favorite things, because there's not very many opportunities where you get to really not only reach out and touch the audience with the material that you're working with, but also physically reach out and touch.
Sure. Yeah.
We're running up in the aisles. We're like looking people dead in the face. I know we like talk with the audience at some points. Like it's a really interactive way of staging and super immersive. And I think that will make this like a very unique staging of this show, and a unique theater experience overall for anyone who joins us.
I mean, you're making me, I'm sure for other people too, you're making me really want to see it. So, like, on
Come
that
on.
topic, I mean, right. So, Pam, back to you. Back to you, Pam, like as if you're a reporter. Um, when is the show opening? If you said it already, I apologize. When is the show opening? And if and how people can still get tickets, or is it sold out?
Yeah. So first, I want to just mention Christopher Teller, who's not with us right now, who's the third cast member in the show. There's three of them. And Chris and Lily both play multiple characters in John's life. So Logan plays John for the whole show, and then Chris and Lily play everybody else. So they have multiple characters. And I wanted to just mention Chris because he wasn't able to make it today. We open on the 26th of January, which is a week from Thursday. And we run Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 p.m. and Sunday at 2 o'clock on the 29th. So it's just a one weekend run. We have 4 shows. The seating is extremely limited because we are building the audience is sitting on the stage with us. So we have a limited number of seats. So I would really recommend getting tickets. Tickets are available at www.theater444.com. And that's theater with an R-E, not an E-R. And so if you go to our website, you'll find a link to get tickets there. And you can also get tickets to our other events there as well. But tickets are already selling. They're on sale. They've been on sale. We have quite a few tickets sold already. So we anticipate being sold out because of the size of the audience and the nature of this piece. We know that our audience loves John Larson from doing Rent this summer. So we're anticipating being sold out. So if you want to see Tick Tick Boom, we would really highly suggest you get tickets.
Awesome. And so one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Pam, is so you have these two clearly very talented people that you have in these roles that seem like they're challenging in a good way. How did you find actors to come and be involved in your theater, and where are you guys from?
Yeah, that's a great question. We are so fortunate to have this wide range. We've grasped from a large distance. When we did Rent this summer, about half the cast was brand new to us. They just showed up. And then when we did auditions for Tick Tick Boom, these folks just showed up. And it's just super exciting because we get to meet new people. We get to bring a whole bunch of people into the Finger Lakes that haven't been here before. And that also brings us audience from outside of the Finger Lakes as well. And we love that. So I can let them speak about how they found us.
Sure. Lily.
Yeah, I found the audition notice on a Facebook group, honestly. So I was looking to get involved in community theater and saw this notice, and I had recently become familiar with Tick Tick Boom, and I thought that it would be a really fun show to do. And so went to the audition, and I'm from Rochester, so it's a bit of a drive, but not as far as Logan. So, but we're yeah, it's worth every minute, honestly, because it's been such a challenge to, and like, so the role is so demanding, the show is so demanding, and but also just being able to work really intimately as a cast of three with two really talented actors, and Pam leading the way creatively. It's been a gift the whole way along, so really, really lucky to have found it.
It's awesome. And Logan?
Yeah, so I also found it on a Facebook group, but it was sent to me from my dance teacher who saw it. And then now I'm in that Facebook group so I can see other things. But yeah, I had just recently told my dance teacher about Tick Tick Boom actually, and that's why she sent it to me, because
That's so
I
funny.
figured she could use some songs from it because I really loved it. I was obsessed since it came out, and I had listened to the soundtrack quite a few times. And yeah, so she sent it to me knowing that I liked it, and then I figured I'd drive up there. It's about an hour and a half for me. Um, so I figured I'd at least give it a try, and it's like Lily said, it's been worth it to work with everyone. And this is definitely, like I said earlier too, it's pushing my range, and it's really challenging me and putting me to another level as an actor, and I really appreciate that opportunity. Because a lot of community shows, they're really fun, but they don't necessarily take that acting level up too many notches. But this is definitely doing that, and this is just a very difficult show that I have one of the lighter loads on too, because Lily and Chris actually do. I mean, like Pam said, so many different characters, so many different
Right.
parts, and and their acting can definitely put mine to shame. So it's definitely
Aw.
Logan.
a good show.
Logan's he's being really humble right now, but he carries the show.
Yeah, 100%.
Really working really hard to carry the show. It's a tough one, but like I said earlier, this is the kind of material that Theater 444 likes to do. We
Sure.
like to do the hard stuff. We're not going to shy away from it because it's difficult, which a lot of community theaters won't take it on because it is so complicated and hard. But I think that's what attracts people like these people to us,
The
because it's
challenge. Yeah.
attractive and it's challenging. And yeah.
Well, I love that. I mean, I'm super psyched to like put this together and to hopefully go see it. Pam, I know that I talked to you about potentially sending me like some pictures or a
Yeah.
video or something, just something like quick, like a little sneak peek that I could put in there if you have it. If not,
Yeah.
it'll still be great. Unless is there anything else that you guys would like to add? Anything I should have asked you that I didn't?
I guess I would just take another few seconds to talk about Chris, who is not here just because he can't talk for himself, but he he plays primarily Michael, who is based on John's real life best friend who goes through his own struggles in the story. And Chris's portrayal of him is amazing, and he plays many different characters as well, who sometimes get to take some comedic relief into the show, and he does great with those. So I just wanted to give him a little of that credit too.
Wonderful. Lily, anything else?
No, thank you for calling him out, Logan. He's also like, he's they're both so talented, and like it makes it easy. Like, even though it's demanding material, it makes it easy to do
Sure.
because of the two of them. Like,
Because you're working off of somebody who's giving you something that you can like feed off of. The
totally.
passion and the energy, it's got to be there. And it's like, I'm just excited for you guys. Pam, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I'd like to mention Meredith Beckley, who's our music director, and Garrett Coons, who's our technical director. This is going to be technically a challenging show also. We have a full rock band on stage with the audience.
What?
So it's going to be exciting. But yeah, they're doing all the lighting and everything right on the stage. So he's got his hands full as well. So I appreciate them so much. It's so hard to sometimes get folks to do the hard work, the heavy lifting stuff. And our cast is so small. We worked so hard over the weekend getting everything set up. So I just wanted to call them out and thank them for their work as well.